Hey guys, it's Charlie. It's the 27th of September, Monday, and the Republicans apparently have it all figured out, and they've come up with a pledge to America. Now, I've read this pledge, 21 pages, and actually it's more like 15 or 16 pages, double spaced, and it's what it is cut and paste GOP propaganda that was all over the place before the Labor Day weekend. And they know that most of this country does not even think about elections until after Labor Day. So they've consolidated it all, put it into a pledge, slapped several pages of Ross Perot-style graphs and charts, and packaged it as the new pledge to America. The fact of the matter is, this thing is a joke. They've managed to capture some of the popular sentiment of the country, their anger towards bailout, Tea Party members' anger towards bailout, anger towards government-run healthcare and government-run housing in Freddie and Fannie. And in fact, it calls for the abolishing Freddie and Fannie. But it goes on to say, even further, which is very telling, it blames Freddie and Fannie for the mortgage meltdown, but not them. It blames the people they lent the money to. It was Freddie and Fannie's fault for lending money to consumers who had no business borrowing that kind of money. Once again, setting the stage to throw the blame back on the American people. And you might believe that, and you might not believe that. It really doesn't matter, because the total mortgage debt in the country was $9 trillion in 2008, and we've begged, borrowed, spent, and guaranteed, and promised, and insured that too big to fails amounts 3 times that much. So for the Republicans to come out and blame Freddie and Fannie vis-a-vis the citizens who borrowed money through Freddie and Fannie is disingenuous at best. And like I said, the rest of it is filled with fluff, how the economy is all Barack Obama's fault and the Democrats' fault. Well, I distinctly remember the vote in Congress in 2008, and there's plenty of blame to go around to all of the non-representing representatives. And in fact, the Republicans are as much, if not more, to blame for the bailout of Wall Street as the Democrats are, in my opinion. And for the Democrats' part, what do they want to talk about? They don't want to talk about any real issues either. Every time the president goes on television, he tells you that he inherited a system that was losing 800,000 jobs a month, and we've created jobs. And his friends on the right and the left leaning media are there to help him with stories like this: America is back. They don't want to talk about real issues. They want to talk about education. They want to talk about immigration. They don't want to talk about the blatant fact that they saved the people who led us into this economic depression. They'll pay some lip service to going after Wall Street, but nobody goes after Wall Street. They'll pay some lip service to the deindustrialization of this country, but nobody does anything about it because they're bought off. They're paid for by the same lobbyists who wrote things like the financial reform legislation and the same lobbyists who wrote things like the healthcare legislation. It's a complete and utter circus. It's a freak show. What is the real issue that nobody wants to talk about? Well, how about the monetary policy of this country? Every problem we have right now can be linked all the way back, follow the money, to the banksters who own, the cabal who own the Federal Reserve System in this country and the central banking systems around the world. That's taboo. We were close in 2008. We were close to a Ron Paul audit, but with millions of dollars being spent by the Federal Reserve in publicists, they managed to get this taken off the table, and now we're going to argue back and forth about things that we can't do anything about without fixing the monetary policy of this country in the first place, such as education. We can't just print money and throw it at education and think that's going to fix it. Our economy is in the toilet, and it's getting far worse, but they're not going to address any real issues because they're all culpable for where we're at right now. When's the last time you heard a politician talk about the trade war that's going on right now? When was the last time you heard them talk about what we're going to do to get industry back into this country? They don't want to do that because the people who fund them don't want to do that. This weekend, China raised its tariff on imported poultry from 34% to 104%. You're not going to find that without searching diligently in any of the mainstream media. You're also not going to find statements by like the Brazilian president who says we're in a full-fledged race to the bottom currency war. These are the things that can lead to world hot wars where people are going to die. Yet we don't have politicians with the guts and the courage to stand up, except for a very, very few, and say the problem is monetary policy in this country. The financial system in this country has deindustrialized this nation. We've chopped up our manufacturing capability and shipped it around the world. And now we're having a currency war with a communist country. And we're probably going to come out on the losing side of it because we can't make any decisions based on what's best for the people of the country. We have to do it based on what's best for special interest. If you remember back when the $1 trillion stimulus bill was passed, there was a lot of people saying, buy America first. These same politicians who sit in Congress today, who are trying to get China labeled as a currency manipulator, were the ones who came on television a year ago and said, we can't do America first. That'll slow down the global recovery. And it needs to be a global recovery in order for the U.S. to recover. It's just same old jargon over and over again. Wall Street has to be healthy before Main Street can be healthy. The global economy's got to be healthy before the U.S. economy can be healthy. Now that we're in a political season, they want to ratchet up the rhetoric and say, well, we'll pass a non-binding resolution declaring China is a currency manipulator. What will come of that? Absolutely nothing will come of that. Lip service, some FaceTime in front of a camera or on a radio show saying we're doing this for the American worker, and then nothing will happen. China, on the other hand, because they're a communist nation and they have complete control over their currency, go ahead and decide to keep it right where it's at. And in fact, since we decided that we were going to impose a minimal tariff on their tires, they are going to go ahead and more than double the tariff on imported poultry from the United States of America. Do you see? We're in a war. The mainstream media does not want to cover any of it. They don't want to cover any reality. They just want the same old rhetoric for both sides to keep going on and on so they can keep having their income come in from the Wall Street banksters who are also funding the candidates who are running for office. But nothing is getting fixed. We will be, as Warren likes to say, in the dirt nap before most of us understand what's even happening in this country. We will be with a currency that is without value and a system that is beyond repair before most people even realize what the true issues should have been in this midterm election. Stories are attached. That's all I got.